Good afternoon. It's Wednesday the 31st of March, back in the Reading Nook on what is a warm and bright spring afternoon. I have a cup of tea and I have the first of many parcels to go through today. So let's get started. So give you a clue to this one. There we go. If you have a look there, it says Echoes From Fomalhaut, and that means this is a package from Hungary, and there's going to be fanzines inside. And the first fanzine is here we go. This got a map, so an insert. So just it says, okay, the map is Arfel, city-state of the Channel God, players cartography to the town of Arfel. So let's just open up and show you. It's blank on the reverse, but what you can see on this side is basically a nice map which shows you basically the relationships of the various buildings, not necessarily what they are. Obviously this probably is some kind of temple or fortress complex. That's the castle in the town of Arfel, and you've got the roads and sort of like basically the bank of the hill on which the city rests. So the issue itself is, this is issue 4, Revenge of the Frogs. Okay, I'll show you that a bit closer. Nice bit of cover artwork. Now, Echoes of Fomalhaut is it's from the First Hungarian D20 Society. There are numerous issues of this, plus adventures and supplements. And the content, it's an old school Renaissance fanzine, but it's primarily written with the advanced version of such games in mind. So obviously Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, Advanced Labyrinth, astonishing tales of swordsmen and sorcerers and swordsmen of Hyperborea, and similar. But there's nothing to stop a GM or Dungeon Master taking this content and adapting it into the retro clone of his choice. Really, it's a matter of terminology, and this would work just as well with standard Labyrinth Lord or old school Essentials. It all depends upon what the Dungeon Master wants. So, what we've got inside is we have quick editorial, frogs, and lots of frogs, which is the theme of the issue, before we dive into the technological table. Now, the setting which Gabor Lux has described in previous issues has an element of science fiction to it. So here we have futuristic weapons, laser pistols, laser rifles, laser swords, and so on. Now, this is because there are echoes of a previous society to be found in the fantasy setting he uses. Much like Tekamel, Empire of the Petal Throne. And this includes right up to the Dark Eye. In the ancient era, the use of this device was strictly prohibited. It's a round black device, an artificial eye equipped with a darkly glinting lens, touched to the forehead. It sinks to the skull to embed itself and so on, allowing perfect vision even total darkness. Now, eyes themselves be found in Tekamel, and their magical devices fit in the hand. They have a little stud button and they have various effects, and usually written on the back in some fairly arcane terminology, and that echoes those that like. Now, and I mean, so this means you can incorporate this content into your setting if it has a technological element to it, whether that's from a past empire or time travelers from the future or visitors from another from a galactic empire or the like. Then we go on to start really delving into the theme of the issue with Revenge of the Frogs, adventure module for levels 3 to 5. And what's interesting is that there has always been a backtrackian frog-like theme running through Dungeons and Dragons and Adventures. Most notably, you have the frog-like inhabitants of the underworld, which really come into play in the D series of adventures. I believe they're called Bullywugs from memory. I could be wrong. And such creatures, there's something sort of like innately weird about frogs. You know, the jet black eye, the almost featureless lack of expression, which we found really were quite alien. And that's sort of like a scene carried over into H.P. Lacrosse, or carried over from H.P. Lacrofte's Shadow over Innsmouth, with the deep ones. So we've got a nice little map of the area for the adventure. We've got the orcs here with their pig-like snouts. I mean, that's sort of like a traditional depiction of orcs. You know, there are various different depictions of orcs. It's just one of them. Nice bit of artwork of a sorcerer or witch there. And then, you know, so basically this is essentially a little bit of a small sandbox style adventure. There are other locations, but none of them are mapped in there. And I mean, obviously, there's nothing to stop the dungeon master from doing so. Then we get on to description of the town on the map, which is Arthur's city state of the child god. Go get the location, and there's a lot of use of basically public domain artwork in here. That's fine. You know, it's using it effectively. This nicely gives a bit of a depiction of sort of like age and grandeur to the place. It's a bit rough. And we have a brief guide right through the middle of the fanzine. So here we have the GM's map, and again basically a number of locations that correspond to which the players can discover as they explore. Then Castles in Tillion, we've got an advert for that. That's a big dungeon that he has published. I don't have a copy of it, and it would be interesting, something that I would like to review at some point. You can see this basically, if you have a look there, there's basically just a map of the complex faded into the background. And then we have Aurelian West. Now, it's a continuation of the article from issue 3, which represents the second half of the hex key to the Eye of Aurelian mini setting. General write-up in the first issue, in issue 2, and then actual with the first half in issue 3. So this covers the western half of the island and its mysteries, like the Lunar Path and the Isle of Trials. Here's the map of the island itself. So yeah, you've got basically a region for there's the Island of Trials I mentioned there. You've got a little island setting for the players to explore and adventure in. We have a strange weirdness there, giant eye floating at the top of a hill or mountain. So yeah, there's quite a lengthy write-up of the area, and this takes up most of the latter half of the fanzine. So what you've really got is in the sense of that this is kind of build. I mean, one of the things you can do in fanzines is you can world build. You do bits of parts of a setting as you go along, presenting adventures for it and areas within your own campaign map, and you can bring your campaign mode and you can bring it to the buying public. Most notably, Wormskin did this. There's 8 issues of Wormskin available, and they're for the Dolmen Wood setting, which eventually is going to become its own supplement. I'm looking forward to seeing that because it's a fantastic setting. And there's a sense that Gabor Lux is doing the kind of same thing with his own world in Echoes of Fomalhaut. Anyway, in the meantime, and lastly, there's a bit of an advert on the back, basically what's available, and there's a nice little index there. So overall, this is basically thoroughly recommend. It's a nice little fanzine, plenty of playable content in there, essentially a setting to explore, and I will be reviewing this in the near future as part of the fanzine focus thing I do a few times a year on my blog. In the meantime, if you have enjoyed this unboxing, please click the like button. If you've got any comments or feedback, I do take the time to read them and to respond. And if you want to see yet more of these unboxings, then please subscribe. In the meantime, thanks again for watching another unboxing. I'll be back with yet another parcel in the very near future. Bye for now.